wanted to do this video for some time, but haven't quite gotten around to it. It's around the 4 pillars of cohesion within what I call high-performing or optimally performing teams. Now, there are a number of things that go into building a team, whether it comes to, I guess, competitive tension, diversity of opinion, diversity of background, skill sets, geographies, industries. There's a whole bunch of things that go into building a team and to building teams in different industries. But we have put together what I think is a fairly universal list of 4 key pillars just relating to cohesion. So there's natural competition within teams, there's drive, there's different forces, there's different inputs. But when you really want to be the glue that puts these teams together to reach the absolute zenith of performance, these are the 4 pillars that we build around. So I want to do this video for a while. I'm just going to start and see how it goes. And I suspect it might be a little bit helpful if you want to have a look at your team from your point of view. Maybe you can find something in here that's helpful. So the 4 pillars are really built around having 4 people who take on these extra responsibilities within the team. It's not within, I guess, their position description, but it's extra responsibilities as the subject matter expert or as a champion of these areas. The first one of 4, they're all as important as each other. The first one of 4 is the projects expert. This person must understand or must be the center of truth when it comes to project management standards. They must be the standard bearer and the flag bearer when it comes to this is how we deliver projects. This is how we deliver for clients. This is the methodology that we rely on. They also need to understand the utilization of the team and to be able to support the team leader or more senior people in ensuring that we have the resources required to deliver. And they also, to some extent, have to be the financial understanding or the financial brain to be able to educate and communicate with project managers on financial outcomes, financial tracking, and the importance of meeting deadlines and those sorts of things. So it's not a management role per se, it's a projects champion, a projects expert, and it is the center of truth of knowledge on how we deliver projects within this team. The second pillar in the cohesion wall, if you like, is the information and communications expert. Now, this person has to be the standard bearer and the champion of how we communicate with each other as a team. Now, again, this is not part of a position description per se, but this is the person that the team look to when they come to communication bottlenecks, communication issues, or even how our workflow works from an IT point of view. They can work and they can understand what we need as a team to communicate with each other in the end. They can also be responsible for overseeing risk and QA and to be able to communicate those risks and then communicate issues as they arise. Now, this is an extraordinarily important person in the cohesion pillars because they are the glue that keeps the internal communication flowing and ensures that we have the tools and resources that we require to be able to work together really in the end. The third pillar in this cohesion wall is the culture champion. Now, a lot of companies will talk about culture. I would say it's very, very hard to define what makes a good or bad culture. I think you can feel it in how you measure it. I think you can do satisfaction surveys. You can look at your staff turnover. You look at your financial performance. But this person, I guess the culture champion, they're responsible for leading the company mandated, I don't mean to sound that so dry, but the company mandated cultural expectations. This is the person who personifies the cultural expectations of this team and indeed, quite frankly, this business. Now, this is an extraordinarily important, the responsibility on this person's shoulders, quite frankly, is probably unfair as the culture champion because we're all human and we all make errors, but if we're going to build a culture of performance, of communication, and some of the other areas that we've covered, this person has to be the standard bearer that everybody looks to. They also have to have a mandate to intervene where they see situations and the courage to do so, to intervene where they see situations that do not meet the standards of the business from a cultural point of view. This is just so important that it's just not funny. This cultural champion has to be ready for the job, and they have to be almost beyond reproach in a lot of ways, but it's an essential role within, I guess, the cohesion pillars. Within this team, I said they're all equal, but they're not. This is easily the most important one, and that is the customer or client DNA expert or champion. Now, this person is important for reasons that I think are relatively self-evident, but in any team, no matter what industry you're in, whether you're client-facing, customer-facing, or internal, or your government, The reality is you have customers and or clients that you service. This person, the client/customer DNA champion, is responsible for understanding the expectations and ambitions of those customers and clients. They are the voice, the flesh and bone of the customer and the client in every major decision, in every team meeting, in how we set our path over the longer term. They are the voice of the customer or the client at all times. They have the power to intervene where they see fit. Lots of teams see their customers or their clients as a bit of a hindrance, quite frankly, in a lot of circumstances. So this person is so important to bring those ambitions and to bring those expectations of the client and or the customer to this team. They also have a mandate to be able to intervene where necessary, where they see behaviors that do not support customer and or client outcomes. The client/customer DNA champion is the most important of the 4 pillars. If you start there, it's a very good place to start. I think that you absolutely cannot have a successful team without that person in that level of responsibility. And there it is, the 4 pillars of cohesion. It seems quite simple when you look at it, but I think when you start to dig down into the really important parts of these roles, they do require a certain type of person. They do require someone who's really looking to stretch themselves in these areas. Look, a team leader can play one of these roles. I would never love having someone playing 2 of these roles ideally. And for instance, a communications person or might come out of administration or somewhere that controls workflow. There's a number of ways you can do it. But having these people in place, you don't need a PD, you don't need a promotion. This is an opportunity for people to, contribute and be a part of something beyond their day-to-day. So I would love to hear your comments and feedback. I'm happy to add another pillar if anyone's got that idea. And good luck with your teams and good luck with your businesses.